The call for new geographic entities that would combine states or impose a new superstructure on any group of states, in my opinion, is uncalled for and does not add value to the debate on federalism. Any governor today who wants to say that he cannot develop his state with the resources available to him is merely confessing that he is unfit to be a governor. As I have said, in those evil days of Obasanjo's onshore-offshore dichotomy, I was given mere 600 million naira every month with which to develop this state, which then was classified as a non-gold producer. Despite this, I was able to build an airport which, thanks to Governor Remy Emmanuel, today is named after me. And this is an airport with a maintenance, repair and overall facility with the best runway in the country. I built an independent power plant, IPP of 191 megawatt capacity. I built the Meridian Hotel with a marina and an acclaimed golf course, which today is considered a tourist delight and a place of choice for conferences, retreats, and business meetings. I built housing estates, hospitals, schools. I built roads. I gave people pipe-borne water and rural electrification. I started a unique innovative technology and an information communication technology park with a major innovation center. I initiated the design for a deep-sea port at the Baka, in addition to establishing new and rehabilitating a number of vulnerable industries. In the process, I took Akwa Ibom State firmly into the Nigerian Federation, where its voice was heard and respected. And I projected the state positively to the world. I set enviable standards of development, and above all, I made Akwa Ibom State into a peace haven in the turbulent Niger Delta. I can think of a number of things that can stop a state from effectively functioning as a federating unit, but certainly size or lack of resources would not be included. The truth is that the resource does not have to be located in your state for you to benefit from it. In the 80s, Kaduna State, where I lived, invested profitably in Calabar Veneer and Plywood Company, Calvert Line. And this is a company based in Calabar that exploited the rich forest endowments of Cross River State. Kaduna State was a beneficial investor in that company. Similarly, at the turn of the century, Akwa Ibom State government invested in the Nobel Global System of Mobile Telephony Company, Econet, and we reaped bountifully. Today, nobody can say that it is only Ogun State that will benefit from the mega oil and petrochemical complex that the Dangote Group is putting up in that state. All we have to do is to think outside the box, use the ingenuity and imagination with the determination that whatever the odds, the state will survive, the state will develop, the state will progress. Those seeking to form regions in whatever combination of states should bear in mind that the states we have today are the closest thing to the wishes of the people. Though created by the military, they came as a result of vigorous campaigns by the people with convincing evidence of their viability. Remembering that all the states were created from larger formations to solve various problems, particularly the problem of internal conflicts, any attempt to recombine them should first make certain that those conflicts no longer exist. There will still remain the question of the mechanism by which those regions will be formed. Another major argument that is sometimes put forward in support of regionalization is the reduction in the cost of administration. For instance, the entire northern region at independence had only one regional government at Kaduna. Today, we have 19 very expensive state governments. On the surface, this concept of cash savings appears very possible, but in my opinion, it is fallacious. While it is true that the cost of governance has become astronomically high, I do not attribute this merely to the number of state governments that we have, but rather to the unbridled, extravagant consumerism of the various governments. Besides, we should not lose sight of the fact that any attempt to combine even two states would result in throwing an unthinkable number of civil and other public servants of all sorts of grades and cadre into the pool of jobless people. That would be an unmitigated disaster. There are those who do not want to abolish the states, but want to create federal regions under which there would be a number of states. For me, the concept is so woolly that I find it difficult to comprehend and therefore unable to effectively comment on. Already we are complaining about costs, so I see no purpose in creating yet another administrative superstructure. Is it the federal region that will then be considered as the federating unit? And if so, what will be the status of the states? Who will control and administer the resources? What will be the fate of the local government? Sometimes I fear, and I want to repeat this here, that this may be a veiled attempt to break up the country by recreating those mega blocks, any one of which can successfully threaten our corporate existence. But those who genuinely believe that regions will make better federating units than states, they must first show how regions will be formed to attain legal, or should I say, constitutional status. They must also clearly define a new federal structure, given that we will be dealing with 4 levels of governance: federal, region, state, and local government. I am just afraid that however well-intentioned they may be, and however strongly they may wish, like the rest of us, to see the country restructured, the regionalists may just end up delaying the process, or in fact creating a stumbling block. In this, I strong ally in the esteemed personage of Alhaji Balarabe Musa, popularly known as the voice of the people, when in a recent interview he said, and I quote, "True federalism and restructuring are different things entirely. Those who talk about true federalism, in reality, are talking of true federal system of government, where power is shared between the center and the states and various units. Those who are calling for true federalism are honest, but the issue is the problem of regions." End of quote. I urge the regionalists to please drop the idea, accept the states as they exist today as the federating units, and let us move on. If any cluster of states should choose to come together for economic reasons, or reasons of shared facilities, or any reason of commonality, they could of course do so following the example of DAWN. DAWN stands for Development Agenda for Western Nigeria. This was initiated by 6 governors of the Southwest. The fact that those states at some point were governed by governors from different political parties did not hinder their cooperation. There is also the BRACE Commission. In the South, BRACE stands for Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Edo, and Delta. I know that the South is also working on a similar thing, SENEC, Southeast Nigeria Economic Commission. There was always, of course, the NDDC. Some of us may not know this, but NNDC was the New Nigeria Development Corporation, which was formed to encompass the entire North, but whose assets have since been shared. Recently, the governor of Kaduna State bemoaned the fact that Nigeria consists of 2 countries, a backward North and a developing South. There is no doubt in my mind that if NNDC could be revitalized along with resource control and the financial support of the Bank of the North, now Unity Bank, which they own, that bank is owned entirely by the Northern government, all that could be reversed. Better still, if NNDC could re-emerge, not as 1, but 3 development commissions for the 3 zones in the North. This, for me, is a much superior option in every respect to the formation of former regional entities as federating units. Fortunately for restructuring, the cacophony ends there, and the good news is that there is a general agreement that the only real meaning that we can give to restructuring is the reordering of the polity by way of resource control and the devolution of power to reflect true fiscal federalism. In other words, to go back to the ideals of our founding fathers, we stand in direct antithesis to the unity form of government that the military introduced and we are practicing now. Restructuring must not therefore be seen as a demand for a previously unknown Nigeria. What is being demanded is a return to Nigeria that we have had before, a Nigeria that worked, a Nigeria that helped our human progress and development. Now let me give you a few quotes about restructuring from some eminent Nigerians. Some of these will surprise you. First quote, we cannot continue to live in denial of the need for restructuring. That is a statement by Emma Lamido Sanusi Dema Okano. Second quote, the centralization policy framework that drives the federal system in Nigeria is incongruous with federalism and is therefore responsible for all the ills presently plaguing the country directly or indirectly. Restructuring is the response to the anti-federalist diversion seeking for the reordering of Nigeria by granting more power, autonomy, resources to the states and local governments and creation of new centers of growth and prosperity through regional integration. That quote is by Dr. Bebo, an eminent economist and one of my former commissioners. He was my commissioner for economic development. Third quote, I have no doubt in my mind that we, as leaders, need to do a lot more work. We need to carry out analysis and research to be able to pick the substance from the sentiment. I say this because during the last constitutional review, there were items that were rejected. For example, the evolution of power. But upon reflection, we realized it was actually not in regard to the interests of the people. On the economic front, whatever it will take to bring about growth and development is what must be done. Economic diversification is not just a buzzword, it is a real-life transition that must be made if we are to deliver the dividends of democracy to our people. That quote is by Dr. Olubukola Saraki, the President of the Senate. The next quote I give you, the idea that the North is against restructuring because it benefits most from the current state of things is circumscribed and patently false. Let us be clear, the North wants restructuring as much as anyone else. However, as a people, we do not easily jump onto the bandwagon. I think we should first, as a country, agree on the mutual definition of the term restructuring. That quote is from Alhaji Aminu Tambuwa, current governor of Sokoto State and the S1 chairman of Northern Governors Forum. The next quote, I am happy to note that throughout these discussions, there has not been any opposition to the issue of re-examining our constitution and seeing how best we need to be redesigning with our existing situation. If recommendations of the 2014 National Conference had been subjected to a white paper committee by either the previous or current administration, the conclusion of the El-Rufai-led committee would have arrived at much earlier, and it would have moved the country forward in a search for a convenient constitutional arrangement which will satisfy the yearnings of the majority. That quote is from Alhaji Kanko Yakasai. Now, listen to this. Let us dialogue. Let us search for a solution which lies in the reenactment of federalism with the existing states and the federation federating unit. Nigeria must fashion out his own version of perestroika or perish. That quote is from OBONG, ATTAH, the former governor of Bible State, presenting this lecture. Then the final quote. Your Excellencies, it will be belaboring the point to say that true federalism is necessary at this junction of our political and democratic evolution. I won't ask you to guess where that came from, but I will tell you. That came from President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, in January 2019, when the APC governors went to pay a courtesy visit to him. I repeat what he said. Your Excellencies, it will be belaboring the point to say that true federalism is necessary at this juncture of our political and democratic evolution. All the quotes that I've given above lead only to one inescapable conclusion. In order to survive, Nigeria must go back to true federalism. I feel pain when I hear people say they will not be intimidated by the demand for restructuring. Restructuring is not meant to intimidate anybody. It is meant instead to give everybody a sense of well-being by re-establishing us as a fair, just and productive nation of contented people. A nation of equal opportunities, even as we admit that equality of opportunity does not suppose equality of means. Now to the main issue of national rebuild and sustainable development. Indeed, Nigeria is ready for true federalism from all the quotes I've given you above, and since it is something that we all have had before, I suggest that we drop the word restructuring and adopt national rebuild. This coordinate was provided by the organizers of this lecture. Look at the topic of the lecture. It talks about national rebuild, prescription for national rebuild for sustainable development. This and only this can lead, national rebuild is the only thing that can lead to sustainable development. How we ever sunk into such depth of imbecility as to think that a single commodity, oil, could feed and develop this vast country is something that I can never fathom. Having deceived ourselves to believe that it could, we should have realized that any such development could not be sustained. I think our chairman of the occasion emphasized this tremendously. And this is because oil is a wasting asset. Not only will it dry up sooner than we think, its use is being curtailed to ameliorate the devastating effects of global warming and climate change. Soon, therefore, oil will change from being a wasting asset to a worthless asset. The cry now, therefore, and the acknowledged panacea for this rebuild is diversification, but that demands hard work and creativity. Which governor, I ask again, which governor will agree to diversify so long as at the end of every month he can go to Abuja to collect his share of the oil booty? The only reason a governor would diversify is if he knows that the sustenance and the development of the state depends on it. We have such vast areas of fertile land, but we have refused to revive our agriculture. We have allowed our tourism facilities to decay and other potentials to remain moribund. Governors of states with vast solid mineral deposits are not interested in their exploitation, or if indeed they were, they couldn't, because the law says that such minerals belong exclusively to the federal government. Governors of all producing states cannot stop the oil theft because they do not have state police, and in any case, the federal government appropriated everything. Occasionally, we hear news that money so appropriated has been swallowed up somewhere by gorillas and snakes, or has disappeared into private bank accounts. The incentive to produce has effectively been killed, hence the need for a reverse. If we produce, we persuade ourselves to be content with what we And that is the fact. Whatever you produce, you learn to live by it. But sharing brings out the worst in us, because we always go home with the feeling of having been cheated, a feeling that we should have got more. So today, we quarrel, we fight, we indulge in all sorts of destructive and contrivances because we want to devise ways of getting more from the federal boss. We fail to realize that all we are doing is sharing poverty, and that is the reason for our lack of development. We bicker over our population figures, we fight over the number of states in our zones, we quarrel over the number of local governments in our states, quarrel and disagreements that highlight our differences and cause unnecessary tension and mistrust. But indeed, quarrels that will not abate, but rather escalate, so long as we continue this anti-federal system of sharing rather than generating money. In the process, we ignore the education of our children, the health of our citizens, we close our eyes to the decay and inadequacy of our essential infrastructure. The states and local governments fail in their functions and duties and are content to blame everything on the federal government. And when the tension gets too high or the situation becomes intolerable, we resort to demand for secession. And yet, the answer is simple. And the answer is this: the practice of true federalism with appropriate devolution of power and resource control. Full stop. Those who accuse us in the Niger Delta of preaching resource control because we want to keep all the oil to ourselves, or to be more absurd, that we want to secede with our oil, know that they are just being mischievous, because nothing is further from the truth than that. In fact, the contrary is the position. The recklessness with which the gas is fled, the aggressiveness with which the oil is being exploited. I don't know if you read recently that Nigeria wants to increase its daily oil production from 2 to 3 million barrels a day. The reticence towards the exploitation of their revenue sources, the refusal to clean up the polluted environment resulting from oil and gas activities, leave us in the Niger Delta with the palpable and justifiable fear that these wasting assets are being exploited to our disadvantage, and that after the place has been wrecked, despoiled, and devastated, we will be abandoned with nothing to show but lamentations for our participation in the Union. We in this region have often asked for assurances that this will not be the case, but no such assurance has ever been given. It is issues like this, I must warn, which can instantly be cured by true federalism, that have continued to provoke and heighten the risk of unsavory action from the creeks. We must accept that the issue of resource control will not go away. It is something that we must return to because it is the cornerstone upon which true federalism is erected. The question may then be asked, how can we bring about this rebirth? The answer lies in our ability to carry everybody along, and we have to start by engaging the National Assembly. In a very recent interview, the respected Senator Jonathan Zwingina had this to say, and I quote, "I would like to call on Nigerians, especially our older elites, who feel that restructuring is a presidential affair, to have a reason. It is not a presidential affair. If the necessary cooperation is there, the National Assembly can achieve it. They can create the kind of balanced federation that we are looking for." Prior to that, the President of the Senate had said that members of the National Assembly are crucial to the call for restructuring. In fact, he insisted that no restructuring could happen without the National Assembly. I could not agree more. I also agree wholeheartedly with the Right Honorable Speaker of the 8th House of Representatives, who said that as elected representatives of the people, they were bound to fulfill the wishes of those who elected them. To do otherwise, in my opinion, would be to create a situation in which the servant is greater than the master, or the tail wags the dog. At a recent event in Lagos, I listened to the president of the 9th Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, and I heard him say that no country has ever developed without trust among its citizens. He went on to affirm from a popular line in our abandoned national anthem that though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we must continue to stand. Let me advise that this trust, this brotherhood, which we had and lost, this new beginning, which we fervently desire, can only be realized through rebirth. It is therefore my fervent hope, and I'm sure I express the hope of everyone who wishes this country well, that the 9th Assembly will stand with the people, seize the moment, and rise to such height of patriotism as will not only facilitate but expedite the attainment of this rebirth. Since it is the wishes of the people to have a rebirth, I strongly urge the National Assembly to quickly make a law to convoke a national dialogue. The law should spell out who should attend, the method of election or selection of the conference delegates, the time frame and manner of conduct of deliberations. Such a law would guarantee the legitimacy of the conference, and with that, further attempts to amend the present constitution should cease. When the conference has concluded the deliberations, its findings, without any alterations, must be subjected to a national referendum, the outcome of which will give Nigeria a new constitution made by Nigerians for Nigeria. Such a constitution is what is needed to give Nigeria a new birth. The function of the National Assembly at that stage will be to repeal the decree that brought the 1999 Constitution into existence and make a new law that will promulgate this new Constitution as the supreme law of the land. That way, sovereignty would have been bestowed without any conflict or dispute about rules. Attempts to parallel beat the 1997 Constitution have failed and will continue to fail. The compelling need for a new constitution is therefore something that is acknowledged by all of us in this country. The imperatives for such a new constitution were given by the then president of the Nigerian Bar Association when, in August 2013, he stated, "The constitution as it currently operates does not reflect the people's yearnings and aspirations. Ordinary amendments to its provisions may not necessarily cure the fundamental flaws in it. There is therefore a dire need for a people-oriented constitution which will be subjected to a national referendum and will be self-enforcing." To this, I should add something that I had said earlier. Nigeria must fashion out its own version of perestroika or perish. What should this new constitution give us? Now I find it necessary to turn my thoughts to the system of governance that our new constitution should prescribe. Have we ever stopped to consider why the great Sadhana of Sokoto, Ahmadu Bello, chose in disdain of the central government to remain the premier of his federating unit, the northern region of Nigeria, in preference to being the prime minister of the federation? It is because in a proper federal system, it is the governments at the federating unit, in our own case the states. The state governments, these are what matter most to the people. This being so, I want to strongly advocate that we go back to the parliamentary system which we had at independence. A dictatorial analysis of the two types of government will require another lecture. So I will try only to highlight some of the essential differences. Since we are already familiar with what obtains now, I will dwell essentially on the contrasting features. Whoever wants to be a governor today has the entire state are seats of our electoral constituencies, while the presidential aspirant has the entire country. There is no denying the fact that success in such a contest tends to give the winner a sense of conquest that has often brought out the worst dictatorial tendencies in us. The financial demands of the exercise, particularly in an unregulated environment such as ours, are enormous. And again, we would be less than honest if we try to deny the fact that it is state funds, the people's patrimony, that is being deployed. This has resulted in the paucity of funds for development and other demands of dividends of democracy. The presidential system that we operate today has also resulted in the abasement of the high office of governor and president. Today, people become governors not necessarily because they are competent or even have a manifesto for the development of the state, but merely because they are somebody's boy, meaning that they have some powerful godfather that pushes them into that position. On leaving office, he too wants to push his own boy to take over. So we now have a situation of boy governors with no ideas or any form of competence for the office they occupy. While this may be particularly true of the office of the governor, we are witnesses to how a president successfully imposed his choice of successor on this country. It is only in a war presidential system that this type of abomination can occur. This boy syndrome has robbed the various houses of assembly of any independence and the ability to provide any checks and balance for the proper running of government. They cannot therefore perform any oversight functions over the executive, even as to the last one of them, they have been put there by the governor. At the federal level, we have the wasteful layering of the Senate over the House of Representatives in addition to the Federal Executive Council. Three very expensive conglomerates. I call them conglomerates because that is what they are. Each with an array of special and personal assistants, all in the name of running a government. I don't know which of you read the other day that there's one senator that appointed 46 aides. One senator, 46 aides. These conglomerates that often cannot find a common ground. And so we hear of such evil things as budget padding and the sinister introduction of fraudulent constituency projects with the promotion of parochial over above national interest. The result is that mediocrity and wastefulness rule the day. Another invidious perfidy of this system is the rigging of elections. Rigging starts with INEC and is then transferred to the courts with bizarre results that effectively rob the electorate of what should be an inalienable right to elect their leaders. The consequence is imposition of the worst kind and a complete thwarting of the people's will. Even when it gets to happen that the people actually succeed in electing who they want, we find that Mr. A, listen to this carefully, Mr. A defeats Mr. B and gets elected by his people. But overall, Mr. B's party wins the election and Mr. B gets appointed as the commissioner or minister for a constituency that rejected him at the polls. Is this not an absurdity? I will show that it is almost impossible for such anti-people perversions as I have illustrated above to occur in a parliamentary system. In a parliamentary system, everybody gets elected from their state House of Assembly constituency at the state level, and at the national level, the constituency is that of the Federal House of Representatives. The party with the highest number of members in the various assemblies will be called upon to form a government, and the members will elect from among themselves a premier at the state level and a prime minister at the federal level. Some of the other members will be selected to head various ministries and commissions as ministers, or commissioners. The opposition will in turn form a shadow cabinet to provide stringent oversight function that will effectively monitor government activities. Now, let us examine what that means. Starting with the elections, we can see that with the shrunken constituency, campaign funds, which have provided a drawback to many, will crash. The electorate, knowing that their representative could in fact be elected as the Premier or Prime Minister, as the case may be, failing which he or she could be put in charge of a good ministry as the Commissioner or Minister, will make sure that they put forward their best candidate. There is no doubt that the electorate will know unquestioningly who it is they want to represent or lead them. And that rules out the possibility of consideration of rigging. The state house will remain one, the state as now, while at the federal level, the Executive Council, the House of Representatives, and the Senate will be combined into one single assembly, with resulting savings in billions of naira. While indeed we cannot play down the phenomenal advantage of reducing the cost of running elections and running the government that this system has over the presidential, its greatest attraction lies in the undeniable fact that only quality people with the integrity and purpose, people who have got the endorsement of the electorate can scale through this system. Without a doubt, therefore, the parliamentary system will give Nigeria the one thing that we all agree we need. And that one thing is quality leadership. Add to this the fact that the emergent leadership will also be contributive and collective. Given the proliferation of parties that we have in Nigeria today, it will not be possible for any one of those to win a clear overall majority of seats in any assembly. So there will be negotiation, horse trading, coalition between parties that believe they have similar ideologies, or should I say points of view, and the result will be a close approximation to an inclusive people's government. Even if we succeed in bringing the number of parties down to 2, with the possibility, therefore, of one of them at any given time gaining an overall majority and therefore being able to form government of his own, the shadow cabinet mounted by the opposition party is bound to keep it on its toes. Greater accountability will be assured and corruption will be largely curtailed. An additional beauty of the parliamentary system is that a truly efficient premier or prime minister can be re-elected again and again and again, as was the case with Margaret Thatcher. On the other hand, one tragic policy error or a general perception of incompetence may be all that is required for one to be removed from that office, as has just happened in Britain. What happened in Britain happened without the trauma of impeachment, which always comes with an attempt to remove a president in a presidential system. So I conclude. Today, Nigeria is faced with the question to be or not to be. And we must answer unequivocally. As in the affairs of men, so also in the affairs of a nation. There is a tide which, taken at the flood, will spur us to unprecedented growth and development, but omitted will cause disaster and total disintegration. President Muhammadu Buhari must count himself particularly lucky that he is the one positioned to answer that question and to take the glory. He has said, without prompting, that he would be belaboring the point to say that true federalism is necessary at this juncture of our political and democratic evolution. That evolution must end in a rebirth for the country. Having acknowledged this fact, he must, with determination and a sense of urgency, take the required steps to bring it about. Even though certain actions of Mr. President appear at times to belie his avowals, I nonetheless call on all the skeptics to bury their doubts, come out strongly in support of the President, and task him this time to stand firmly by his word. After all, he is the first president ever to add his voice to the demand for true federalism, which has now reached a crescendo. The needed rebirth is one that will give life back to this country, a rebirth that will regenerate a sense of productive enterprise and self-reliance, a rebirth that will reestablish our self-respect and respect for one another, that will turn anomy into bonhomie, that will change vicious, destructive envy into healthy rivalry, a rebirth that is with its internal mechanism to fight corruption, a rebirth that will lead us to fix our decaying infrastructure, uplift our falling education standard, provide the needed health care services for our people, restore human dignity, and provide adequate security for the lives and property of our people. A rebirth that will bring about much needed sustainable development and reestablish us as respectable citizens with dignity in the community of nations. Should President Muhammadu Buhari succeed in bringing this about, he will be our nation's greatest hero and the acknowledged father of modern Nigeria. But should he falter or fail, the consequence would be a disaster of such magnitude that would inexorably lead to the total disintegration of this country. May God guide our president and give him the glory. Long live Long Parawaidi. Long live Akwa Ibom State. Long live the Federal Democratic Nigeria.